Now, your Alaska Link weather for Fairbanks and the interior.
Into the weekend ahead, we will hit the halfway point of March. And as we look at our March summary, we note that we've seen a little bit of precipitation, do start to see a little bit of a deficit there. But the warm temperatures is definitely the outlier there, as we are seeing that we have an average temperature of over 21 degrees. That is nearly 16 degrees above normal. And as we pull the data out, we are noting that we are the fifth warm start to March. As you pull that data out to March 11th there at that 21 degrees. The warmest start there through the 11th day of March is 26.5 degrees set back in 1988. So noting that it's not totally usual to see this warm of temperatures right off the bat into March, but we are noting that we'll continue to see more of these mild conditions. We're noting that for our Thursday morning, we are noting lows falling just slightly below zero, some even spots hanging on to zero or above there. Delta Junction at 0, Fairbanks at 3 below, Denali National Park at 4 below. But we will note that this is very seasonable for this time of the year, so it's not going to change up that average too much. We've been a little cooler than normal the last few days, but we are noting that we're pulling back those high temperatures into the 20s, and that's where we should be this time of the year, and we're going to stay there with some bright skies through the end of the week. We also note that as we continue to monitor our 7-day and extended forecast, we do note that dry conditions are going to continue for the foreseeable future. There's no big systems that are interrupting the interior. What we will see is that there is going to be some turn back to some active weather to the Gulf to our south, and that's going to allow for some potential warming next week to even bring us high temperatures back above that freezing mark. So something to monitor, especially noting that we've already had such a warm start to March. Will March be one of the warmest? Something, again, to watch for, but it's very typical for the end of the March to see this warm up. Now, for here at Thursday, we are seeing that we're looking at a pretty seasonable day, from just hitting 0 or slightly below to afternoon highs hitting the 20s. That is exactly where March typically sits for the Fairbanks area. Not too breezy, few wind gusts found after some of those snow showers were lifting their way into the Alaska range, but overall not too much when it comes down to wind impacts, making for what should be a beautiful day under that sunshine with 11 hours and 32 minutes of daylight. We have that 8:13 sunrise and 7:46 sunset. With sunshine across the region, we're looking at a high of 15 in Chena Hot Springs, Tana at 14 degrees, Denali National Park at 23, Tana Cross at 18 degrees. Into our Friday forecast, rinse and repeat. We are noting anywhere from that range of those upper teens to about those mid-20s for high temperatures, and we are going to continue to sound like that broken record as we note that through the weekend and into next week, we watch lows just sit around the single digits, highs around those 20s, and we are continuing that mostly sunny sky. By next week, though, we do start to see that potential of climbing those highs into the 30s.